Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Richard saying welcome and thank you for choosing to sit down and watch this today. Much appreciated, and I hope you're all doing well. Okay, well today's video is going to be about obviously a model railway locomotive review. So if you're into model railways, collecting or building for the first time, or maybe you're an old hand at the hobby itself, I hope you'll find this video inspirational, useful, and just enjoyable in terms of watching and getting an idea of something that you might like to buy or grab a hold of for the future. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing obviously a locomotive review, and it's a steam locomotive, and it's one of these. It's a class G2A or Super D steam locomotive, and I'll stop the video, obviously get it out of the box, and you can see exactly what she looks like. So grab yourself a cup of tea or a beverage of your choice, and I shall see you soon. Hello everyone, welcome back to the video and part 2. So we're going to look at this Super D or G2A from Bachmann in a while, or shortly should I say. But what I want to highlight first of all in the video is something very, very important. Now, the packaging that this loco comes in is the standard Bachmann clear see-through packaging together with protective sleeve, which is thus so. The most important thing to look at when you buy this loco, if you're going to think about buying this loco, or actually you own one or just bought one basically, there's an important little message inside the box, and it says, "Caution, the locomotive and tender are linked. Please lift both together from the packaging tray." Now basically what that says is, when you open this loco up, you have to take both hands very carefully and lift her out of the box. Do not pick the locomotive up and allow the tender to dangle, or vice versa, because you will do some damage, and I'll show you why very shortly. But we don't do box reviews, so let's move it out of the way, and just very quickly I'll show you. I love this about Bachmann because not only their boxes are very well put together and thought about when you obviously buy it and take it out of the box at home, but they give you this lovely little history lesson on the back of each box about a loco that you've particularly bought, be it steam or diesel or electric multiple unit. I love the fact that Bachmann actually tell you about the actual prototype that you've actually just bought. So this one tells us about the G2A, where it was made, the history of the loco, the kind of work it did, and obviously there's an example in the National Collection according to this. So all well and good, very interesting, blah de blah. Let's get it out of the way. And here is our Super D, and she is really, really just gorgeous, and there's nothing I can fault about this loco. I give this 10 out of 10 straight away. When I got this out of the box for the first time, immediately it just ticked all the right boxes for me, because it looks just really handsome, it looks purposeful, and it's just a really handsome looking machine. So let's move down the tender first of all and check out what the tender's got to offer for us. So first of all, this example is finished in pristine black, and it has the early British Railways line and wheel crest. So if you're modelling from that period, this would obviously be very suitable. Looking at the tender itself, you've got some nice rear lamp brackets on the rear of the tender, and also you've got, I'm going to say, bring this up here in a minute, you've got these nice sprung buffers, so these are sprung, which is good, and then pocket coupling is standard fitted on both the tender and the front of the loco. I've taken my coupling off the front, I think it looks more better. You've also got a little hook on there as well, should you wish to fit your own 3-pin link coupling for your own choice. The actual tender itself is very, very well detailed, and you've got a nice little access hatch here for the hose pipe of the leather of the water crane or watering up device to go in there and fill that up nicely. I like models that look like they can be opened by miniature hands, and this really does sort of illustrate that rather well. And you've got some nice detail around there, some nice riveted detail here on the tender, as you can see. This coal is moulded, but I'm sure if you want to put some PVA glue very carefully and lightly around this area, you could actually super glue or PVA glue your own coal on there. I'm not going to, because I think this actually looks too nice to spoil, and I'm not actually going to do that with this my version here. I'm going to leave it as it is. You've got some nice detail around here, this guardrail on here, and these back cab supports here, and these nice little round windows which are glazed, and I think these are really nice either side, and obviously a little bit there. Moving down the tender to the bottom of the chassis, you've got some really superb rivet detail and underframe detail there. The brake rods, mine came factory fitted with the brake rods. I'm not sure if yours will, but I thought that was a nice touch. It saves you a lot of work. And coming down further to the tender, this is really cool. You've got quite a lot of detail there. Even on the tender, you've got loads of detail there, and that's really nice. This version, by the way, is the G2A Super D version with the back cab, which is obviously an extension of the cab here onto the tender part. You can buy a version of this without this part here, which is weathered, and that's available from Bachmann, and is currently available in the Hatton's Model Railway catalogue range. So moving on to the footplate, this is really nice. This again checked all the right boxes for me. It's really very well defined and presented by Bachmann. I mean, just look at that. You've got all that detail on the footplate there. As you can see, the regulator, which is there, all these safety valves and bits of brass pipe work, and everything on the footplate, as you would expect on this particular machine, is very well defined and picked out by Bachmann. And the paint job itself is very, very crisp. The numbering and everything about the external finish on this loco is superb. And you've got all this detail here with the wheels all around there. I love the wheel arrangement, by the way, on this loco. The wheel arrangement is very, very nice. I have not got a loco of this arrangement, and I just love it. I just think it's really cool. Some nice detail obviously along there with the pipe work and bits and pieces there. But this is really the part that interested me greatly on the front of the loco. Look at this. You've got an opening and closing smoke box door. That is extremely nice. And I think when my loco is standing over one of my inspection pits on the layout, and you've got that half open like that, it really does look extremely authentic. As you can see, you've got all this rivet detail here on the smoke box part of the boiler, and everything from the chimney to the safety valve dome, or the boiler dome there, it just looks really, really well proportioned. Everything about this loco to me is 10 out of 10. I would really recommend this for somebody who's looking for a general purpose freight light passenger loco in the steam area. This is a very, very nice loco. And you've got a pocket at the front there for an M pocket coupling, which comes with the loco itself. Like I said earlier, mine has been removed for appearance version basically. You've got a hook there obviously for a coupling. There is a space there for a vacuum pipe. I think mine came with a vacuum pipe, I'm not sure. I might put it in my bits and pieces box to fit later on. But it's a really, really nice loco. Now, as mentioned earlier on, there is a reason why you do not ever, 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 never pick this up like this. Do not do that, because I'll show you why. If we turn this very gently and carefully, turn her over on our side, I'll show you something. Right, where's my little trusty toothpick? Right, okay, so if we just straighten that out, right, good. So, if we look at this, you've got a permanently connected drawbar between the tender to the locomotive, and if I bring the camera in, you can see there's a little chip that goes from there, obviously, and is wired across permanently with these connecting wires through the drawbar to the tender. This locomotive is DCC ready and is ready to be DCC fitted should you wish to, and I think the actual chip goes in the tender. I'm not sure, I haven't read the instructions yet because I'm not a DCC person, but this is a DC locomotive on my layout, but it is DCC ready. But because of the fragile nature of these connections between the loco here and the tender, which is here across this area, and this little draw, and this drawbar here is only very small but very fragile. It's designed obviously to move left and right, and obviously across point work and around curves and around the track geometry on your layout. But what you don't want is to put any kind of stress on this area, because you'll end up bending and snapping these wires, and you do not want to do that. So treat this loco with respect. Although it is a model, it's designed for model railway collectors and obviously for young adults and grown-ups. It's not something you give to your 4-year-old son to play with, basically. We all know that these things are extremely expensive and very fragile, so obviously look after them, treat them with care, and they'll look after you. And you've got obviously these loads of pickups on these wheels, as you can see. So you've got plenty of pickups to collect your current across points. So whether you've got install frog or electrofrog points on your layout, you've got guaranteed excellent pickup between the loco and the tender. Both are all connected together. And obviously here's your brake rod rigging that's been factory fitted, which is nice. Again, saves you a job. Interestingly enough, this chassis is, I think it's cast, because it's quite chunky, it's quite heavy. It's not plastic, it's actually a form of metal. So there's most of the weight on the loco is actually contained in this chassis, which helps obviously the track stiff effort and the performance of the loco on the track. So there we go. I hope that wasn't too boring for you, all that technical information. Like I said, she's a really nice loco, but you have to be very, very careful with this area here when you handle her. Obviously 2 hands, one gently on the side of the chassis there, and obviously I put my other 2 hands, or 2 fingers. None of us have got 4 hands these days, I don't think. Just a hand on there and a hand on there, basically very carefully lifting her up like so. But don't ever dangle this tender freely from this loco, because you will damage this connection here. Anyway, enough gumph about that. Hope you've enjoyed it. There is my Bachmann Super D G2A, and I do hope you like her, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, take care, and God bless. Bye bye.